Well, I don't know if my books add new insight. What I try to do, and what I was forced to do throughout my journalistic work, was to put together actions in the private sector and actions in the public sector. By this I mean that production cycles in agricultural production and distribution do not only follow political logic, but in particular private interests and much more individual behavior than collective behavior. What I try to show in my book is that international organizations like the UN Food and Agriculture Organization are a little bit disconnected from certain realities and only work with information that they obtain directly from the governments. But governments, and in particular governments in the Global South, tend to lack a comprehensive view of the situation, be it due to blindness or to malfunctioning of state institutions. It leads to a situation where they neglect agricultural unions, civil society, and the interests of the private sector. Yes, of course. Speculation reflects private interest, profit maximization. It's a logic that benefits few at the expense of the big majority. But you cannot say that speculation is something new. It has always existed. Since there was production and exchange, there was speculation. The phenomenon that we see today is maybe a little bit larger in its effects, meaning that the financial sector has gained a lot more power than it used to have in the past. It manipulates high amounts of liquidity that can be moved from the stock exchange to a commodities exchange as soon as this or that product rises in price, following the traders' anticipations. But this speculation alone does not explain the rise of raw material prices, be it metal or agricultural commodities. When there is speculation, it means that the speculator anticipates that the market will develop into this or into that direction. So the speculator only amplifies price movements, of which he believes that they will happen no matter what. Without this form of anticipation, meaning without any real factors like scarcity or excess production, there wouldn't be any speculation.
De pénurie ou d'excès de production ou par rapport à une demande beaucoup plus faible, il n'y aurait pas ces phénomènes spéculatifs.
Of course, I believe that the fundamental role is that played by the governments that have often let things go their way without intervening. For years and years, agricultural investment in the Global South, and in particular in ACP countries, has been extremely weak. This behavior has been encouraged by the international institutions, be it the World Bank or the IMF, but local governments happily followed their way. If we take the example of Senegal, for example, a big importer of food commodities and of rice in particular, we see that importing rice is very easy for them. It only requires to order a ship to come and to impose tariffs on a big rice trader who has his office in Dakar. It's a lot easier than to confront all the small farmers and to ask them to pay a monthly or annual contribution. It's simply much easier to tax the big importers. So, if you want, some African governments have opted for an easy solution instead of launching an offensive agricultural policy that would allow them to become, well, more or less self-sufficient.
Sinon à l'autosuffisance, du moins à la production de produits permettant au pays en grande partie de s'autosuffire sur le plan alimentaire.
Yes, that's true. Firstly, because the harvest in African countries in particular has seen improvements. So the share of imports remained rather small, but as we speak today, at the end of January, beginning of February 2011, some troubling signs have appeared on the rice market. Indonesia and the Philippines, for example, have bought up high volumes of rice, so it is probable, if I may dare to predict, because it's rather difficult to predict price developments on these markets, it is probable that the rice market will see new tensions in the weeks and months to come.